Warhammer 40,000 is a daunting game to get into, with over 20 factions to play with, and many diverse miniatures to build, paint, and collect. Where exactly do you start? My name is Brother Tobias, and I am a Space Marine. The chapter has allocated to me a budget of $250 a month. There is an obstacle, however. My entire budget has to be spent on official Games Workshop products. I am not allowed to share 2-player boxes and cannot purchase used miniatures. The goal is to gather a 2,000 points Ultramarines army and lead them to victory in an official tournament. Welcome to Space Marine Plays Warhammer 40,000.
Salutations, Battle Brothers! There isn't much to say. It's the end of March, and we still have a lot of budget to blow through. Let's start with the main star of this week's video. The Victrix Guard and Kalgar. The man in front of you is none other than the chapter master of the Ultramarines. The man who, prior to the return of the Primarch, was in charge of the Ultramarines. He is a mighty warrior and a brilliant strategist. In addition to him, we also have 2 members of the Victrix Honor Guard. This duo is responsible for making sure that no harm comes to Space Marine heroes on the battlefield. Here we have the instruction manual telling us how to assemble Kalgar and the Victrix Guard, the bases, some transfer sheets, and the sprues. And Kalgar gets 1 sprue just for himself. Now, what do they do? Let's start one by one. Kalgar is a unique Space Marine character. You can only include him once in your army. The mighty chapter master grants you 2 additional command points if he is your warlord. His warlord trait is Adept of the Codex, which allows you to recoup any CP you spend on a 5-up whenever you use a stratagem. Kalgar himself is a very durable model, thanks to a 2-up save, toughness 5, 8 wounds, and the ability to ignore half the damage he takes. He is a very, very, very hard to kill brawler. Speaking of brawling, his 2 legendary power fists, the Fists of Ultramar, are capable of dealing a lot of damage in close combat. Kalgar is a chapter master, so he is also able to grant full rerolls to hit to 1 unit in each command phase of your turns. Is there anything bad about Kalgar? Well, he is quite expensive to field. At 210 points, he is almost twice as expensive as a regular chapter master. So you better make sure that you get maximum value out of all of his abilities. In order to ensure that Kalgar doesn't get removed before he can make his points back, you could try to run some Victrix Guard. The Victrix Guard is an elite melee unit of the Ultramarines. They have very strong defensive stats, a 2-up armor save, 3 wounds, and a 3-up invulnerable save. Characters within 3 inches of Victrix Guard units cannot be shot in the shooting phase. They can also heroically intervene like characters, which means if your opponent tries to work around the shooting restriction and charges your characters, the Victrix Guard will jump into the fray. and try to cut everyone down who threatens your character. As a small little bonus, Victrix Guards do not require elite slots in your detachment if Manius Kalgar is in the same detachment. Victrix Guard are also pretty affordable at 35 points a model. Victrix Guard have many uses, and for that reason we have 2 more boxes. Yes, you are hearing correctly. I intend to run 3 squads of Victrix Guard in the final list of this challenge. They are simply very useful units, being able to protect characters, add some melee ability to our army, and because they are infantry, they can perform actions, which is very useful. Look at that. I was waiting so long for the mail that they changed the packaging in the meantime. With this, we now have 3 squads of Victrix Honor Guard for the final list. They are simply very strong and very useful. What isn't as useful are the 2 spare Manius Kalgar miniatures we can't do anything with, but that's a problem for another time. While the collection grows, we still have some incursion-sized battle reports to go through. So let us not waste any more time. Today's match is a
small firearms practice
against the Black Templar Space Marines. The Black Templars are a rowdy bunch of melee specialists. They care little for the sayings of the codex and prefer fervor and faith over strategies and tactics. As always, army lists are in the description down below. I spent 2 CP on rapid redeployment, an Ultramarine stratagem which allows me to completely reposition 3 of my units before the game begins. I also decide to pick the bike squad, the Outriders, as my Seal of Oath target. The Outriders drive forward, while the remaining Black Templars huddle along the ruins. This is a big mistake in my opinion, since by only giving me 1 unit to shoot at each turn, it means that my entire army can shoot 1 unit at a time. The bikes charge in, to which I respond by paying 2 command points for Defensive Focus, a stratagem which allows me to shoot Overwatch with 3 units within 6 inches of the charge target. Thanks to the Seal of Oath, I managed to kill 2 of them in Overwatch, while the 3rd one, thankfully, failed its charge. From that point onwards, the game wraps up rather nicely. I move onto the objectives and shoot the Black Templars piece by piece. Aside from losing my lieutenant to the opponent's lieutenant in a rather one-sided sword fight, I pretty much dominate the remainder of the game. The score tallies up to 82 to 23 for the Ultramarines. Thank you for watching the video. If you feel like supporting the Ultramarines even further, consider leaving a like, comment or subscription to the channel. Thanks to the leftover money from February, we could spend a lot of money in March and even have some left for additional April funds. April is going to be the month which I will be using to fully flesh out and complete the army. I hope you are all excited for the future.
for courage and honor.